Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news. Something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run. A power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to what's happening around the NFL, especially in the AFC North, you already know that the Steelers are at a crucial crossroads this season. And no, I'm not just talking about the quarterback position or the defense, which has been historically solid under Mike Tomlin, but about one of the most vital aspects of any team's success. The receiving core, that group, which is supposed to be the backbone of Pittsburgh's offense, has seen some interesting moves in the offseason. Moves that could have major implications for their upcoming season. So, let's dive right into what's been happening. It all started back in March, when the Steelers pulled off a blockbuster trade for DK Metcalf. Yes, DK Metcalf, the Seattle Seahawks star wide receiver, known for his incredible athleticism and game-changing plays. The idea was pretty straightforward. Bring in a legitimate number one receiver who could stretch the field, create mismatches, and give quarterback Kenny Pickett a true go-to target. The Steelers, in a sense, set out to rebuild and reinforce that aerial attack, especially after a solid but somewhat inconsistent 2022 season. Metcalf's addition was seen as a game-changer, a move that could push Pittsburgh's passing game into a new stratosphere. But, as we all know, things don't always go as planned in the NFL, especially during the offseason. Just weeks after the draft, the Steelers shocked many fans by trading away George Pickens, one of their most promising young receivers, to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, why would they do that? Well, reports indicated that there were some tensions brewing between Pickens and the team's management. Some disagreements over targets, the offensive scheme, and maybe even some chemistry issues. It's not uncommon for young players to have growing pains. But the Steelers decided to move on, leaving their receiver depth chart looking a bit thin. That decision, in many ways, keeps them in the same spot they finished last season, with a reliable, proven number one in Diontae Johnson, who's been a steady presence for years, but with a question mark around who steps up as the reliable second option. That's a concern, especially as they prepare for this crucial season, which could very well be their window to contend for a Super Bowl. They've got a talented core, a solid defense, a promising quarterback, but the receiver position remains a bit of a question mark. And that's exactly why the rumors and discussions about potential additions have been heating up. Now, looking ahead to this season, the Steelers are facing a bit of a ticking clock. With Aaron Rodgers now leading the Jets, the AFC is more competitive than ever. Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer, is under pressure to make things work in New York quickly. And for Pittsburgh, this means they can't afford to fall behind offensively. They need weapons, and they need them fast, especially if they want to maximize their chances in what could be a very tight race for playoff positioning. This brings us to the latest buzz. The idea that the Steelers might look into veteran receiver Odell Beckham Jr. It's an interesting proposition, isn't it? Beckham, a name that still resonates with fans, has had a roller coaster career since that spectacular 2018 season where he racked up over 300 yards and 10 touchdowns. Since then, injuries, team changes, and inconsistency have hampered his production. His last year with the Miami Dolphins was marred by injuries, and his stats have been trending downward. He's failed to reach 600 yards since his prime in 2019. Yet, Beckham's name still carries weight, especially in the locker room and among quarterbacks who appreciate his route running and playmaking ability. CBS sports analyst Cody Benjamin recently suggested that the Steelers should consider pursuing Beckham on a one-year deal. Why not, right? If you think about it, Beckham has a history with Aaron Rodgers. The Packers reportedly tried to sign him in 2021, and Rodgers has always spoken highly of his talent. Rodgers and Beckham have an understanding, a familiarity that could make a reunion in Pittsburgh a real possibility. And with Beckham reportedly teasing a comeback this season, the question becomes, is it worth the Steelers' investment? Imagine a pairing of Metcalf and Beckham, with Pickens traded away and Johnson as the reliable veteran leader. Suddenly, you've got a diverse, dynamic group of receivers capable of stretching defenses and creating big plays. But here's where it gets tricky. Beckham, despite his name value, has seen his production drop sharply. He hasn't been the same explosive threat he was a few years ago. His last full season, in 2021, saw him eclipse 1,000 yards. But since then, injuries and inconsistency have taken their toll. The question is whether the Steelers believe they can get a revitalized Beckham, or if they see him more as a veteran presence and a potential game-changer if he's healthy. Meanwhile, the Steelers are also exploring their draft options, developing their young core, and trying to find that second reliable receiver to complement Johnson and Metcalf. There's a lot of hope that George Pickens will continue to develop into a true number 2. But relying solely on young players can be risky. Experience and chemistry matter, especially in high-pressure situations. So, what does this all mean for the upcoming season? Well, Pittsburgh is in a position where they need to maximize their offensive weapons. They have a talented quarterback in Kenny Pickett, who showed flashes last year and is expected to take a step forward. But without enough quality targets, especially in the slot and on the outside, their offensive ceiling is limited. That's why the Beckham rumors are so intriguing. He might not be the superstar he once was, but if he's healthy and motivated, he could be a valuable piece in this puzzle. And let's not forget the bigger picture here. The AFC North is becoming more competitive by the year. The Cincinnati Bengals, with Joe Burrow leading an explosive offense, are a force to be reckoned with. The Baltimore Ravens, under Lamar Jackson, are always dangerous, especially if they can stay healthy and add some weapons of their own. The Cleveland Browns, with their revamped roster and Deshaun Watson now settled in, are also aiming high. So, for the Steelers, this isn't just about improving their passing game. It's about staying ahead in a division that's evolving rapidly. Looking at their current roster, there's a lot of promising pieces. T.J. Watt continues to be one of the best defenders in the league. An absolute game wrecker who can shift the momentum in any game. The secondary has been improving under Brian Flores, and the defensive line is as solid as ever. But, as we all know, defense wins championships, and Pittsburgh has had one of the league's top units for years. Still, to make a real push, they need that offense to be more consistent and explosive. That's where adding a veteran like Beckham, or drafting a promising receiver in the upcoming NFL draft, could make all the difference. Now, if we look at the recent history of the Steelers, they've always been a team that values character, grit, and resilience. Mike Tomlin's leadership has kept them competitive through ups and downs, and the organization has a knack for finding diamonds in the rough. But in today's NFL, you also need star power. Players who can take over games and carry the team when it counts. That's why the pursuit of a veteran like Beckham makes sense. He could provide that spark, that veteran leadership, that clutch playmaking ability that Pittsburgh has sometimes lacked in the past. And speaking of that, it's worth mentioning how the Steelers have historically built their teams around a strong core of defense and a reliable, balanced offense. The Steel Curtain era was all about defense, but in recent years, the focus has shifted to a more balanced attack. Still, the key to consistent success has always been having those reliable receivers who can step up when the moment calls for it. Whether it's a veteran like Beckham or a promising young player, depth and versatility at the receiver position will be crucial. Now, what should fans be looking forward to? Well, the training camp battles are heating up. Watch out for how the coaching staff integrates Beckham if he signs, or how the young receivers develop. There's also the ongoing saga of Kenny Pickett, who showed promise last year but needs to elevate his game to truly lead this team to the promised land. The offensive line, which has been solid but needs to stay healthy, will play a big role in protecting Pickett and giving him the time to find his targets. And let's not forget special teams. Always an unsung hero in the NFL, Pittsburgh's special teams unit has been reliable, but any improvement here could be the difference in close games. It's the little things that often separate the good teams from the great ones. And the Steelers are known for their discipline and execution. As for the division, the AFC North is shaping up to be one of the most competitive divisions in recent memory. The Bengals are loaded with talent, especially on offense. The Ravens are looking to take the next step with Lamar Jackson's resurgence and some strategic offseason moves. The Browns, with Deshaun Watson now settled in and a revamped roster, are also eyeing playoff success. In this context, Pittsburgh's ability to shore up their offensive weapons, particularly their receiver core, could be the difference in clinching that playoff spot and making a deep run. Looking ahead, the NFL schedule release will give us a better idea of how tough their opponents will be. But if the Steelers can add a veteran presence like Beckham and continue developing their young talent, they could surprise many analysts and fans alike. The key will be consistency. They've shown they can play tough defense, and now it's about balancing that with an offense capable of scoring points in bunches. And I have to say, the excitement among Steelers fans is palpable. Every offseason brought new rumors, new hopes, and new expectations. Fans are eager to see how this team will perform, especially with so many question marks surrounding the receiver position. Will they make a splash sign-in? Will their young players step up and develop into reliable targets? Or will they rely on internal growth and strategic draft picks? Whatever happens, one thing is clear: the Pittsburgh Steelers are in a crucial phase of their franchise history, and this season could define their future for years to come. So, as we get closer to the start of the season, keep your eyes peeled for any signings or roster moves. The Steelers are always a team that surprises us, whether it's through tough defense, innovative coaching, or clutch performances from their veteran stars. This year, the story might be about whether they can finally get that extra weapon to push them over the edge, especially in a division that refuses to give up its dominance easily. And, of course, fans are hoping that everything aligns just right for another deep playoff run, possibly even another Super Bowl appearance. But remember, nothing is guaranteed in the NFL. It's a league of inches, of moments, of resilience. The Steelers have always been a team built on grit and heart, and this season won't be any different. They'll need every ounce of that steel resolve to navigate the challenges ahead. So, stay tuned, stay passionate, and keep supporting your team, because the journey is just getting started, and it promises to be an exciting ride. Pause here, just for a second, if you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you. It's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead. It's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move to bring Odell Beckham Jr. into the fold? Do you believe he can still be that explosive playmaker the team needs? Or do you think the focus should be on developing their young receivers and drafting new talent? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. This team is built on the passion of its fans. And your voices are what keep the spirit alive. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more news, and more analysis on everything Steelers. So, stay tuned, stay excited, and let's keep the Steelers fire burning bright.